Good afternoon. Namaste to all dear learners. I, Dr. Mahesh Singh, Professor Plant Pathology, Tirthankar Mahabir University, Muradabad, Uttar Pradesh. Welcome you all once again in NIOS live studio program. Under this, today we will discuss about the diseases and insect pest of mushroom and their management. Dear learners, as you know, mushroom is a very good crop nowadays, but it have been suffering from numbers of insect pests as well as diseases. So the learning objective for today's session is to teach the students about the symptoms, etiology, disease and insect cycles, and identification of the insect pest, and what are the impact for the disease or insect pest on the crop of mushroom, as well as their suitable management practices for the major diseases as well as insect pest of mushroom crop for better and assured yield. The learning outcome for the today's session is at the end of the session you will be able to understand about the diseases, their economic loss, the causal agent, as well as the identification of the insect pest, the symptoms of the disease, as well as favorable condition for the development of the disease, and how they can spread of the pathogen, the cycle of the disease, as well as insect pest in details, how to identify the insect and the impact of the insect pest on the mushroom crop or cultivation for the better yield. Dear learners, as you know, mushroom is nothing but it is a kind of fungus. You can say it is derived from the French word Moussurien, which is originally referred to a type of fungus. It is basically visible spore-bearing fruiting body of a fungus. Dear learners, it is the reproductive structure of the emergences of the mycelium. It is a thread-like network of a fungal cell that make up the main body of the fungus. Mushroom comes in a various shape and size and colors also, as you have already seen in the market as well as in production area also, and they are found in the diverse ecosystem around the world. Mushroom cultivation is a unique and highly specialized form of agriculture nowadays, but it is facing its own set of challenges and the threats, that particularly in the form of diseases as well as insect pest. Mushroom diseases are typically caused by various microorganisms, you can say fungi, bacteria as well as viruses, and so many damaging insect pests also. These pests can significantly impact the productivity as well as quality of the mushroom crops. These pathogens can infect the mushroom mycelium, casing layers as well as fruiting body, leading to reduce the yield as well as the quality of the mushroom. Dear learners, this is the list of the mushroom and their causal agent, mushroom diseases and their causal agent. First disease is cobweb disease. You can say it is also known as cowweb disease also. It is caused by the Hyphomyces species. And green mold diseases. Green mold disease is caused by the Trichoderma species, and wet bubble disease, it is caused by the Mycogone pernicosa. Dry bubble disease, verticillium fungicola, the pathogen, and the bacterial blotch is Pseudomonas species, and yellow cap disease is caused by also Pseudomonas citrullosis, and fusarium wilt, it is caused by the fusarium species. So this is the some major diseases of mushroom. Dear learners, this is the list of insect pest of mushroom, like serret flies, phorid flies, and darkening beetles, mushroom mites, row beetles, millipedes, ants, slugs and snails, as well as nematodes. These pests can also harm or damage the main crops of the mushroom at any stage, like growing stage, bed preparation stage, as well as the growing crop condition. Now we will discuss about the cobweb disease of mushroom. Dear learners, cobweb disease is also known as cobweb disease. It is a common fungal disease that affects the mushroom crops, particularly those grown in the controlled environment condition like commercial mushroom farms. It is caused by the various species of the fungus. It is often belong to the genera Clabotrium and Verticillium also. This disease is named after the web-like mycelium you can see here in photograph, and it's developed on the surface of mushroom compost as well as growing substrate. Also that's why it is looks like a spider webs like appearance, so that's why it is known as cobweb disease. Now about the symptoms and causal organism. As you know, Cladobacterium is the causal agent of this this disease, and the symptoms you have already seen in photographs. The development of a white cottony or web-like mycelium on the surface of the mushroom substrate. The mycelium can spread rapidly and it may cover the entire surface. The mycelium may later produce dark spore masses, that is also known as sclerosia, which can appear as a small dark spots on the surface of the mycelium. You can see here in photographs, it is a very common in mushroom cultivation area. You can see this photograph here, the appearance of the web-like structure on the mushroom covering and affecting the whole crop. Now about the impact of the disease. Dear learners, cobweb disease can significantly reduce the mushroom yield as well as the quality by the competing with the desired mushroom mycelium for the nutrient and space. The mycelium of the cobweb fungus can also interfere with the mushroom pinning, that is the initial stage of mushroom development, and disturb the fungal process. So that's why it can harm the growth and development of the mushroom crops. That's why the yield can also reduce, and the main quality is also reduced. The cobweb disease thrives in the condition with the high humidity and elevated the carbon dioxide levels, which are the common in mushroom cultivation environment. The dear learners, the favorable condition for the growing of the pathogens, can prefer the growth, their high humidity as well as the high level of the carbon dioxide condition in the protected condition. So that's why high humidity is harmful for the main crop. So this is about the disease management. Now first practice is sanitation. The sanitation is a very important to minimize or reduce the disease intensity or severity. First of all, practice good hygiene as well as maintain the hygiene around the cultivation area to minimize the spread of the disease. Clean and disinfect the equipments. All equipments using in growing area should be clean and contamination free, and isolation should be also required. Infected batches or areas to prevent the spread of the disease can be isolated from the healthy mushroom. So that's why infected batches or infected packets should be removed out from the main area. temperature and humidity control, maintain the optimal environmental condition to grow the mushroom area while discouraging the condition for the favorable to the disease. Some disease thrives the specific temperature, that's why humidity ranges should be differ for another one. So you have to adjust the factors that can help the to manage the disease. And proper watering should also be there. Avoid over watering, as excessive moisture can create the conditions to conductive to the certain diseases. You have to ensure the proper air ventilation to prevent the build-up of humidity as well as reduce the risk of the disease. Regular monitoring should also be required. Dear learners, regular monitoring can help to identify the sign of the disease, promptly address the issues as soon as they can detect. The chemical treatment, you can also apply some fungicide which are required at the severe level to control the cobweb disease. Dear learners, now green mold disease. Green mold disease is also important in point of view of damaging in the mushroom growing area. It is also known as trichoderma mold or green mold rot. It is a common fungal disease that affect the mushroom crops, particularly in controlled environments like commercial mushroom farms. And it is caused by the various species of the trichoderma genus. Green mold is a serious threat to mushroom cultivation and can lead to the significant economic loss of the mushroom growers. Now causal organism, as you know, the causal agent is trichoderma species. The symptoms of the disease is the most prominent symptoms of the green mold disease is the appearance of the greenish colored mold on the mushroom substrate, casing layers, or even the mushroom themselves also. You can see here in photographs the greenish appearance or greenish fungal trichoderma appearance on the substrate as well as the mushroom also. The green mold can grow rapidly and spread throughout the growing area if not controlled timely. It is often half fully controlled and appearance like you can see here in photograph, mushroom substrate as well as base is also affected by the mold, and mushroom is also get affected, and the whole crop can be damaged due to this pathogen. Now impact of the disease. Green mold can reduce the mushroom yields and quality by the outcome competing of the desired mushroom mycelium for the nutrients as well as space. The mold can reduce the spores which may be spread through the air as well as further contaminate to the growing environment. Affected mushroom may become discolored as well as developed and off-putting odor and taste, making them suitable for the consumption. So the favorable conditions for the growing of the pathogen is green mold thrives in the condition with high humidity. It also prefers the high humidity more than 85% relative humidity as well as the warm temperature, which reduce the typical in mushroom cultivation environment. And now about the disease management. Controlling and managing green mold requires a combination of the preventive measures, especially like good hygiene practices, and if necessary it is in you can apply this strategy like hygiene and sanitation. Keep the growing area clean as well as well sanitized. Regularly clean and disinfect all equipment, surfaces as well as tools used in the cultivation process. Wash hand thoroughly before handling any mushroom cultivation materials. prior to using, as well as isolation of the and quarantine. Isolate contaminated batches or materials to prevent the spread of green mold to healthy mushroom cultures. You can also quarantine the newly acquired substrate or spores or other materials to ensure they cannot carry contaminants with them. Air filtration, use high efficiency particulate air, that is HEPA filters in the air exchange system to reduce the risk of airborne contaminant, including the trichoderma species around the growing area. Now about the temperature and humidity control, you can maintain the optimal temperature as required for the mushroom growing area and humidity levels for the mushroom cultivation, as trichoderma tends to thrive in conditions that are too warm and humid. Use proper ventilation to avoid the stagnant air as well as excess humidity around the growing area. Proper sanitization of substrate, ensure that substrate should be proper sterilized as well as proper sanitized with the equipment, and follow the recommended procedures for the substrate preparation as well as sanitization to minimize the risk of green mold contamination. You can also select selective media to avoid the growing of the trichoderma molds, and training to educate the growers also ensure that individuals involved in mushroom cultivation are well trained and knowledgeable about the prevention of mushroom management for the contaminants especially. Record keeping is also important to maintaining the details, record cultivation practices, environmental conditions, and any contaminants incident that information can help to identify the patterns and improve the future cultivation strategy to avoid the infection of the disease. Now about the dry bubble disease. Dear learners, dry bubble disease is known as affected various mushroom species, especially Agaricus bisporus, which includes the mushroom common white button mushroom. The disease is widely distributed and it has been reported in all mushroom growing area around the world. It can cause the significant loss, including reduce of market value. It can deform the discolored mushroom also. It increase the production cost as well as the control measures, marketability challenges, and the impact of the international trade also. So it can harm the so many things. Now about the pathogen and symptoms. The causal agent is Lacinium fungicola, and it is a fungal pathogen, and the symptoms you can see here in photographs also. The characteristic symptoms of the dry bubble disease is the development of small dry raised or blister like lesion appears on the mushroom caps, and it's sometime on the stems also. These lesions are often tend to light brown in color, as well as it have been rough or scaly textures also. So basically the mushroom can affected by the blister like appearance on the by the affection of this fungus. They can appear basically the upper surface which is having the water soaked appearance or blister like lesion on the main cap as well as stems also. Now you can see here the photographs and symptoms also. This is especially affected by the pathogens which is damaged by the this pathogen. You can see here the blister like appearance on the cap as well as the base and stems also. Now about the impact of the disease. Dry bubble disease can lead to reduce the mushroom yields as well as quality due to the physical damage as well as unattractive appearance of the affected mushroom. The disease can also make mushroom more susceptible to secondary infection by the other pathogens. So this is affect the overall whole crop yield as well as this reduce the yield as well as the damage of the crop. The favorable condition for the growing of the pathogen is poor sanitation practices. Poor sanitation practices can prefer the contamination as well as high humidity. High humidity also damage to the crop as well as application of the contaminated materials as well as overwatering, overcrowding also. Overcrowding is also prefer the cause the high humidity and mushroom beds. So you have to avoid the overcrowding in mushroom beds and inadequate disease monitoring. If you are not monitor properly the disease cropping area, the disease may affect your whole mushroom crops as varietal susceptible. If the variety is susceptible against this disease, they can also damage the whole crop. Disease management. In this hygiene is also required, means maintain the clean and sanitized growing environment to minimize the risk of the fungal spores contaminating the mushroom crops. Disinfect the tools, tray as well as equipments used in mushroom cultivation regular basis. You have to also prefer the quarantine measures, like implement the quarantine procedures for incoming substrate, spawns as well as any other materials to prevent the introduction of new pathogens as well as some other pathogens in the cultivation area. Now you can prefer the cultivars or the selection of the cultivars. You can choose the mushroom cultivars that are known to be less susceptible to dry bubble disease. Now you can also optimize the environmental condition. You can ensure the optimal environmental condition for the mushroom growth, including the proper temperature, humidity and fresh air exchange. Healthy mushroom are less susceptible to disease. Now about the proper watering. Avoid the overwatering as excessive moistures can create the conditions favorable for the development and spread of the fungal pathogens. And monitoring and early detection. It is also very important to regular monitor the growing or cultivation area to identify the disease in early cases. If you find any sign of dry bubble disease such as yellowing, discoloration or abnormal growth around your growing area, you have to detect and identify, and you can discard that bags throughout the growing area. Now isolate affected areas. If dry bubble disease is detected, isolate the affected area to prevent the spread of the pathogens to healthy crop. Now about the chemical control. Fungicides may be caused as a last resort of the disease is a severe. If the severe condition find in near the growing area, you can select the good kind of fungicide to apply for better control. Dear learners, we will meet again with a short break. Thank you.
ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम में हमें NIOS के थ्रू ये सिखाया जाता है, बताया जाता है कि आपको कौन सी प्रॉब्लम में पेशेंट को कैसे स्टेबलाइज करना है।
हेल्थ वर्कर का कोर्स करने के बाद में व्यक्ति इतना निपुण अवश्य हो जाता है कि किसी मरते हुए व्यक्ति की, चाहे वो जलने से हो, चाहे वो डूबने से हो, चाहे वो करंट लगने से हो, चाहे वो सड़क का एक्सीडेंट हो, चाहे वो हार्ट अटैक हो, चाहे दौरा पड़ने से हो, उसकी जान बचा सके। और जान बचाने के बाद में उसको प्राथमिक उपचार देने के उपरांत इमरजेंसी तक पहुंचा सके, जहाँ पे कि डॉक्टर की देखरेख में उसका आगे का इलाज संभव हो सके।
सामुदायिक स्वास्थ्य प्रशिक्षण कार्यक्रम NIOS का बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण प्रशिक्षण कार्यक्रम है। इस कार्यक्रम में आधारभूत जीव विज्ञान, मातृत्व एवं बाल स्वास्थ्य देखभाल, रोगों व आपातकालीन स्थितियों में निवारण एवं प्रबंधन, ये 3 महत्वपूर्ण विषय हैं जिनके आधार पर एक स्वास्थ्य कार्यकर्ता बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से किसी भी इमरजेंसी को हैंडल करने में सक्षम होता है और किसी भी इमरजेंसी में वो फर्स्ट एड दे करके उसको डॉक्टर के पास रेफर कर सकता है। आइए हम सब मिलकर के इस स्वास्थ्य कार्यक्रम को सफल बनाएं। जय हिंद, जय भारत। जय हो।
ब्यूटी यानी सौंदर्य एक आकर्षक विषय होने के साथ साथ एक लोकप्रिय व्यवसाय भी है। भारत में सौंदर्य उद्योग विकसित देशों की तुलना में दोगुनी तेजी से बढ़ रहा है। इसी तेजी से प्रशिक्षित कुशल कर्मियों की मांग भी बढ़ रही है, जो उच्च क्वालिटी की सौंदर्य सेवाएं प्रदान कर सकें। सौंदर्य क्षेत्र में रोजगार के बढ़ते अवसरों को देखते हुए NIOS विभिन्न 6 पाठ्यक्रम उपलब्ध कराता है। इनमें ब्यूटी कल्चर एवं बालों की देखरेख, सौंदर्य उपचार, हाथों व पैरों की देखभाल, बालों की देखभाल व स्टाइलिंग, ये सभी एकल पाठ्यक्रम के अलावा व्यवसायिक स्ट्रीम में भी उपलब्ध हैं, जिसमें शिक्षार्थी 3 सौंदर्य संबंधित विषय, एक शैक्षिक विषय और एक भाषा विषय उत्तीर्ण कर 10वीं का प्रमाण पत्र प्राप्त कर सकते हैं। NIOS से ये कोर्स करने के बाद आप पार्लर में एक सौंदर्य सहायक के तौर पर कार्य कर सकते हैं। नेल आर्ट जैसी विशिष्ट सेवाओं के लिए आप अलग से सैलून भी स्थापित कर सकते हैं। सहायक हेयर स्टाइलिस्ट या मेकअप आर्टिस्ट भी बन सकते हैं। मोबाइल पार्लर्स के माध्यम से फोन पर अपॉइंटमेंट लेकर क्लाइंट के घर पर भी अपनी सेवाएं दे सकते हैं। हमारे इन पाठ्यक्रमों से अनेक शिक्षार्थी लाभान्वित हो रहे हैं और व्यवसाय कर आर्थिक रूप से स्वतंत्र बन रहे हैं।
मैंने NIOS से ब्यूटी कल्चर का वोकेशनल कोर्स किया था। मैंने अपना एक खुद का पार्लर चलाया है और मेरे 2 छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं। मैं अब अपने अंदर कॉन्फिडेंस रखती हूँ कि मैं उनके लिए भी कुछ कर सकती हूँ, उन्हें अच्छी एजुकेशन दे सकती हूँ।
इन सभी पाठ्यक्रमों में प्रवेश लेने हेतु आप हमारी वेबसाइट www.nios.ac.in पर लॉगिन करें। सभी प्रवेश केवल ऑनलाइन ही किए जाते हैं और जो संस्थान NIOS की मान्यता प्राप्त कर इन पाठ्यक्रमों का संचालन करना चाहते हैं, वे भी लॉगिन करें तुरंत NIOS की वेबसाइट www.nios.ac.in पर।
Dear learners, welcome back once again. Till now we had studied about the cobweb disease or cobweb disease of mushroom, as well as dry bubble disease and green mold disease of mushroom. Dear learners, we had a study of this disease about their symptoms, their causal agent, as well as how they can impact the growing crop of mushroom, as well as how we can manage this disease in details. Like biological control, cultural control, as well as some chemical controls for avoiding the growth of pathogens near growing area. Now we will discuss some important insect pests which are very important to control and identify the growing area of mushroom. First one is cyrid flies of mushroom. You know about the cyrid flies. It is also known as fungus gnats. It is a common pest in mushroom cultivation. This is a small flies belongs to the family Cyridae, and it can cause the various problem in mushroom farms. Cyrid flies are found worldwide in area, and they can infest the mushroom cultivation facilities in a variety of climates, means about almost all growing area of the world. They can affect the mushroom growing area. And cyrid flies, it is a pose to significant economic threat to mushroom cultivation due to their detrimental impact on the crop health and production. The larva of this fly feeds the mushroom mycelium and substrates also, which can reduce the yield as well as quality of the mushroom also. So we will discuss about the habitats of this fly. This fly is commonly found in the damp and decaying organic matter such as compost piles and as well as leaf litters and the soil of the potted plants also. They are also frequently associated with the cultivation of mushroom, as they are attract the decaying organic material which is used in growing medium for the mushroom. That's why it is very frequently found in mushroom bags, beds, as well as growing area of the mushroom, because it has the very decaying compost materials which is used for the growing of as a medium for mushroom cultivation. Now appearance of cyrid flies, it looks like a small dark color insect with a wingspan larger than the body length. Their wings are basically larger than their body length. You can easily identify in growing area. They, however, close to the surface, as well as their larva small and translucent, that they can feed on the mushroom mycelium and substrates also. It is detected in the area with high humidity. They can pose a threat to mushroom crops by causing damage, it reducing the yield quality, as well as introducing the contaminants of the other pathogens also. Early identification is crucial for the effective control measures for this insect pest. Now about the damage symptoms, you can identify the larva that can feed the mushroom mycelium, leaving visible grazing marks, as well as compromise its integrity. You can easily identify the substrate damage. Larva also damage the outer layers of the substrate that can affect the structure, as well as the hindering the healthy mushroom growth also. If the small bulb-like structures appears on the mushroom mycelium initially growing stage, they can affect and they can damage the growth of the mushroom. Stunted and malformed fruiting body, that can also result with the infection of the mushroom yield. Now about the contaminants, introduction of the contaminants by serif fly, they can include the bacteria infection as well as fungi and some other microorganism that can posing a risk to overall crop health. So it can also help to as a vector to spread the pathogen and so many diseases. Serif fly transmit fungal pathogens as well as some bacterial pathogen that can facilitating the spread of the disease within the mushroom crops. Production and delaying. Infested disrupt the normal growth cycle of the mushrooms that can it can causing the delay of the production of the mushroom. That's why it affect the overall health as well as the yield of the mushroom crops. Now about the life cycle of the insect. The life cycle of the serif flies typically consist of the 4 stages, basically egg, larva, as pupa as well as adult stage. The larva are the most damaging stage of the context of the mushroom cultivation, and it is basically feed the mycelium and it inhibit the growth of the mushroom basically. So basically the larva is a very damaging stage of the life cycle of the serif flies. Now about the management of the insect pest. First of all, sanitation. Managing the clean and sterile environment is very important to remove any decaying organic matter around or wastage of the around the growing area. Proper ventilation should also be required, so that's why you have to ensure the proper air circulation as well as ventilation in the cultivation area. Temperature and humidity control, you have to maintain the optimal temperature and humidity levels for the mushroom cultivation while avoiding the condition that might be attract the flies. That's why you have to maintain the humidity as well as the temperature around the growing area. And screening, it is also very important to screen our nets our windows and opening to prevent the flies to enter the cultivation area. Biological control is also important practices to consider, the including natural predators of the flies such as parasitic wasps that can control the fly population. However, this approach may not be suitable for the all environments. That's why wasps are not too much good to control, but you can go for that also. Chemical control, if the fly infestation is too severe, you have to consider or you can use the insecticide also. However, it is not good practice for the growing mushroom cultivation by using the chemical insecticide. And now about the row beetles. Row beetles is also important insect pest of the mushroom. It belongs to the family Staphylidae, and it is the basically diverse group of insects that they may be beneficial predators also, but some feeds on the insect also, like mites, small and vertebrates also. However, it's essential to note that there are thousands of the species of row beetles, and their habitats can be very widely. While many row beetles are beneficial also, and they can some species may also cause the damage to the mushroom or other crops also. Row beetles are often found in the various environmental conditions, including soil, leaf litter, as well as decomposing organic matter also. They play a crucial role in the ecosystem by helping to break down the organic material. Some row beetles species are mycophagous also. It meaning it feed on the fungi. That's why it cause the effect the mushroom cultivation also. If the population of these species become too high, they may potentially cause the damage to the mushroom, or they can also cause the impact the growth of the mycelium also. They can damage the substrate as well as the spawn also. Now about the management of the row beetles. Good hygiene practices and sanitation practices is very important around the growing area of the mushroom. Maintain cleanliness as well as hygiene in your mushroom growing area. You have to remove any decaying organic matter as well as debris that may attract the insect, including the row beetles also. Monitoring is also very important. Regular monitor on the beetles population in your mushroom cultivation area. If you notice any increase in harmful row beetle around your growing area, you have to implement the good control measures around that. Now about the sticking trap, you can also use the sticky trap to control the row beetles. In order to the monitoring tools to capture and monitor the presence of the insect, including the row beetles. Chemical control is also effective against this row beetle. You have to identify the significant insect pest that can threatens to the mushroom crops. You may consider the chemical control also. Dear learners, now about the slugs and snails. Slugs and snails, and you can also identify very easily around the growing area of the crops as well as mushrooms and some kitchen gardens also. The presence of the slugs and snails can pose to a significant threat to mushroom crops, leading to the various forms of the damage. These gastropods are attracted to the moistures as well as organic matter associated with the mushroom cultivation, and their feeding habits can harm both the mycelium as well as fruiting body of the mushroom as well as substrate also, the growing area. And appearance, as you know, slugs are very soft elongated body without a cell. You have already seen, I think, and as well as it is a very soft and elongated basically, and it has two pairs of the antennae also with on their head, and it produces the slimy mucus when it runs, and it varied with the colors also, often brown to grayish colors, you can see. And now about snails. Snails have the spiral shaped cells. You have to see the coiling shapes on their cells, as well as it have the very soft body inner the cell also, particularly fully covered with the cells. Two pairs of antennae with eye on their upper pair, as well as it produce the mucus for their movement. Snails and slugs both have produced the slimy mucus when it runs, and it found the diverse cell body as of their colors also, means the cells have their different types of colors as well as the shapes also on the snails. Now about the damage to mushroom crops. Slugs and snails are also known to feed the mycelium as well as the network of the thread-like structure. They can feed the thread-like structure of the mushroom crops that make the growth of the fungus also. Slugs and snail produce the slimy mucus as they when they move, and this mucus can contaminate with the mushroom also, and it can cause so many other pathogen infection. The presence of the mushroom on the mushroom surface may reduce their marketability and overall quality also. The slugs and snail can serve as the vector for the various pathogens including bacteria and fungi. Now about the management. Cultural practices. Dear learners, cultural practices is very important to manage this slugs and snail infection around the growing area of the mushroom. First of all, you have to clean the surroundings. You have to maintain the clean environment around the mushroom beds. Removing of the debris and decaying organic matter that attract the slugs and snail. Proper watering. You have to water the mushroom in the morning to allow the surface to dry during the day condition, making it less favorable for the slugs and snail. Manual removal, you can regularly monitor as well as identify the infection around the mushroom beds. You have to manually pick and remove the slugs and snails around the growing area, dispose them away from the growing area of the mushroom. Now about the cultural practices now about the barriers. You can create the physical barriers to prevent the slugs and snail for the reaching the mushroom, and basically copper barriers are very effective against this pest. And now about the diatomaceous powder. It is basically kind of the powder, rock powder, you can say. Those can sprinkle diatomaceous powder around the mushroom beds. That's why this substrate is actually abrasive to slugs and snail, because they can powder cause the dehydration of the snail and slugs. That's why they can die with that. You can use the traps and removal of the devices. Some devices are also there to remove the snail and slugs, and use the specialized traps for removal of the slug and snail to capture, and you can also relocate them throughout the growing area. Dear learners, this is all about the mushroom diseases, basically important diseases of mushroom as well as insect pest which are damaging to the mushroom crops. Hope it has very informative to you. Thank you very much for precious listening and learning. Thank you.